My voice guys, welcome back once again. Friends, a story that is going to explain. Its name is Tour Office Loop. You must have heard many stories of freedom, but after watching the story, you will feel the real meaning of freedom. It's about that time that you will know the meaning. When people are in the market then, or rather, used to go out to buy humans so that they could make me your slave and work for 19 years, in which you can get old and young women. Children will meet all kinds of people, but among them, Solomon is a human being, such an offer that looks good. He is black, but his heart is pure. He is not a slave to anyone like others. Lives happily with his family. There is a strong gold mission every now and then, like he was going to his work, and then he meets a friend who gives him a bike, introduces people whose name was Brown and Hamilton are both magicians by profession. He tells Solomon that because you want to take a job, you play very well without us. We will have to work in the show any day. There will be a performance that day, so I will pay RS. 250 will we get dollars in that period, friends, 28. The amount of dollar was very high, which, because of this, Solomon accepts his offer. After which we met in Washington a few days later. Let's see where they both worked. Now eating food while sitting in 31 restaurants. Happens where Solomon's then in. But when he opens his eyes, there is a darkness. Finds himself chained in the room. It's another story from his life from here. He starts seeing this very much. I wonder how he ended up here. Now I came slowly and told her everything about last night. He starts remembering things and comes to know that they had betrayed him and that it's worth $1 million. It's been sold for a while now. Later, 2 people come into that room whom Solomon says, I am not a slave. I am free, but where will those people listen to him? Those 200 were going to be considered garbage unnecessarily. Now Solomon seems to be screaming in pain. Learning comes but like this in this dungeon. It is common to have something or the other here every moment. Hear a scream and ignore it. It is given that some other people are also there at that place. There are those who were brought up like Solomon was. Jim is also a lady with 2 children. Now there is one Rahul hiding the people and one. Solomon was being taken to another place. Tells his friends that the cream here, it is very little if we want to kill and get out of here. Can run away and then we'll be free. People agree to the same thing and take pride. Let's wait a little later. There comes a man to juice the black lady. Starts taking it with me forcefully, but now this black guy has to stop her from behind. Tries, but without thinking. White etc. stabs him, and here we learn that none of those slaves. Now there is no value. You are kept like an animal. The next day Solomon threw his body into the water. Gives, and he also understood that if he raised his voice even a little, he too would fall into the water. Everyone will become deaf the next day, after a while. Slaves reach one place here, slaves. Solomon is everywhere there. When he turns his eyes, he sees only. Slaves are seen begging for their lives. Women, old children, everyone are seen as someone's personal property. Some slaves are also like this on their bodies. There were marks of injuries, and seeing these, even the soul will tremble after this Solomon, and with him it is seated in one place, and everyone's name is taken, whose name is taken. He comes and stands in his place, and man taking name after few days plate name. Calls, but no one is standing there. He comes to Solomon and says this. Why didn't you stand up then? He says that I don't have a nameplate next to it anymore. If he says anything else, then he will leave you here. Solomon Khan slaps hard. Mo goes by, she absolutely listen more to her. I don't understand what happened to him now. He is more afraid of this, so that in future what's going to happen with, and we'll see that. All the slaves in one place without clothes. Where to buy them? Rich people come in today's times, like we go to the big showroom to buy clothes. By the way, people came here to buy humans. Now it has happened here before also, of which 2 children were present, and that lady and Solomon. A man could buy the whole thing for $10. This guy has bought it and is playing his role. He is on the need number. You have doctored him. Must have seen Value Woman in strange movie. She tells the man that she has 2 children. You also buy so that all 3 of us can be together. Now that rich man would agree and let him. Also wants to buy, but the man who sells it, he refuses to do so. Because he loves both the small children in every way. Wanted to use that lever here. Appeals to her children too. Let him go along with his slavery for the rest of his life. Was ready to do it, but it didn't listen to him. There was no one in front of his eyes. His children are taken away from him. She cries and screams, but this is the time when a person's value is measured only by money. Now here is the name of the person who bought it. Ford for Friends is one of the heart. He is a very good person. No one attacks slaves after this. Solomon and the woman go to the man's house, where he also treats her very well. She was feeling quite bad that her The children have been separated from here now. Salman had got a new nameplate now. That's the only thing I don't recognize now, that there were other people too. The people who were G slaves tell Salman that if you love your life then, don't tell anyone here that you don't know how to read and write, otherwise these people, in fact, they will kill you all. People's work is by cutting trees in the forest, collecting wood, but for Salman, all the work was not easy, but an educated person. He had never done anything like this in his life. Did that music public, but here, circumstances are different. Everything is told to him by his master. Have agreed, and will have to please them now, only one. Salman tells four who owns which, that if we collect wood with the help of water, if you take it then both your money and time will increase. Now whoever is the supervisor here will go. He did not like Salman and was jealous of him. He says nothing like this can happen water deep enough and the logs will sink, and does Salman do it or not? Is this possible? If I can do it then master. For say it's okay if you do it. If you can make a team and help me. Show that after some time Solomon master to cross that river and see the ultimate. After that everyone standing there would have been very happy. He is very happy with the follow, and he gives equal in his gift because he was a very good person at heart and he loved the slaves. Didn't keep me like a slave, but after seeing all this, the supervisor is not happy. He feels that Solomon will surpass him. Let's see the lady who still has her children. Salman was crying for and seeing him. When he gets angry, he says, how long will she cry like this? If you find a better way, then stay here. To get out of which we tell our children. We'll be able to meet further. We will see that Salman. So wooden house is given to build which remains quite well, but only there. But the supervisor comes and tells him about the shortcomings in the house. Starts taking out, and Salman went to tell you. I may have made a complete mistake in hindsight. They have done their job well. The supervisor was very excited, and he says you're a dog and gives him a kick. Salman was surprised to see this, but he doesn't say anything and stands quietly. Now the next day, and the supervisor again came to him. Comes and says again that you got it wrong. You are working, Salman says angrily. That you are wrong, not me, this man. He comes very angry, and now this time Salman raises his hand on Salman. Don't sit silent either, he will hit you with a bull. Starts the belt, but in the meantime, and the supervisor comes who takes the supervisor and goes away for years. If you want to save your life. If yes, then you must remain sitting here after that. Both of them come here with another man. Now if you are going to get punished for such a thing from here, people will blame him for something he never did. Hanged on a tree with a rope around his neck, and if they let go of the rope then, he will suffocate with that rope. When we are about to leave, there is another. Some man comes and shows a gun. He says, this is my slave, I will leave here. Now all three go away from there. While leaving he talks to supervisor Salman, that I will kill you and stay away from him. Salman's problems increased after leaving. She grows her toe, was standing on support, but when he removed it he will be killed. He has a lot of people working for him. But those people see him like this. Ignore Salman as if it didn't happen. All this is normal for them. After some time the masterfold comes which the winds take us down from the sky and take us home. He tells me that he is the supervisor and not me. I will leave you so I can save your life. To sell you to another master, whose name has been given by the administrator of this precious. She says to me that I am a free man and you are this. Let me know, please get me out of here. Take me out, send me to my family. But master says I can't do it. Can because there is a lot on me too. The debt is there except for saving your life. I have no other choice now, Salman. He had lost his life and only this was in his mind. He wanted to go home from the person to whom he had sent him. To give your enemies the new master's forum. Check out admin apps here. It's exactly the opposite of admin sounds master for. He had beaten the slaves badly and now he used to torture the slaves at this place. They are given the job of picking cotton. There are girls named Petsy who was quite young in age, but he was born, and slaves used to produce twice as much cotton now every. So the calculations are done after the evening. If a farmer takes out less than 1 kilo of cotton, then he used to be whipped, but till today Pepsi. Horses were never killed because I did my work very well, but admin is a very cruel person. Even though there was an evil eye, now all these were slaves, taking a nap after finishing my work. But their owner doesn't have a house. Slaves should rest even a little. He will help his men. Ask them to come to his house. Now all the slaves have been looted while they are half asleep. Come running to him and come here. But it turns out that their master has been killed by dancing. This scene shows that he needs entertainment by giving you an idea of the mentality of the people of that time. Now you can find out all the slaves here. They start dancing, and meanwhile the master's wife, which comes from the root of 16, from the stomach to the mouth, she turns away the water and falls there out of fear. It is said that he did this because he knew that her husband had an evil eye on her, and she tells her husband that, and send it to me as if it was nowhere to be found. Now I will sell that this work has been done very well. Master's wife asks Salman to bring some things, to which he leaves, and halfway through decides that today he would run away. Now enough was enough, and he would. It is also similar, but after going a little further, some white people are seen who are killing 2 slaves. We're hanging, he asks you. 2 slaves, and Salman are afraid of any answer, says not give, after which him in his neck. Let's look at the locket on which his master's name was written. This is the phase going on, friends, where dogs are not leashed, but a leash was put around the neck of humans. If the names of their owners were written in it, then, seeing this strip, the guru would leave it. There are more Solomons than those slaves. Looks into the eyes of those who are screaming that we too are running towards you so that our families can meet their young children. But today we are suffering its punishment in Akshay. Friends, these are the bad people in the jungle. Whatever slaves are roaming around here ran and had tried to run away at him. They caught him and hanged him, and this was happening to some people here now. After seeing this scene, instead of running away, he goes straight to the market and takes the goods to the master, gives it to his wife, and so on this year, and every night with Pepsi. Atrocities happen, and that too in front of everyone. Salman says this was watching everything, but he didn't do anything. Now one night he could stomach this last thing he had, and got her a ring. She says it. I stole it from my master's house. Keep it, but get my work done, he asks. What kind of work does my stomach tell me to do? Now I will take you to the field and kill you. I don't want to live. And after hearing this, Salman, when the soul trembles, then it says to the stomach that I would rather die than this helpless life. Do you want to go? I have no way to survive. There is no reason why I die little by little every day. I am here, and you have to do it to me tonight. What happened? But Salman would refuse to do so, and she goes away from there with her stomach, even if she wants to. No matter how poor one is and whether, no matter how Omir one is, God is one for all. He does not differentiate between his people, whether she is fair or black. Today, we see God listening to Pepsi, that cotton cultivation would decline, and Master starts suffering a lot of losses. Seeing this, he killed all his slaves. Freedom is given on rent to a judge. True, but a little for these slaves. The pain was relieved, and the judge came. The work is to cultivate sugarcane, and this Salman to play violin at a wedding. It is said that he plays very well. After a few days, these people again, they come to the old master. I will do it. Farming has started to start again. As long as all the people were there, it was very. They were happy, but you are being cruel to them. The same sequence starts again. It happens that the one who gets the least amount will be the one who gets it. 100 lashes are imposed, and in this list, Salman remains at the forefront for more than that. He used to fly now one day with them. Old man comes to work who is someone's. Was not a slave, but worked for that money. He had come to do this along with all the slaves. I kept giving it to her, and slowly, friendship begins between people. It is known from the sources that for me, if you work, then he says, what work is it? Says, I will write you a letter. I will give it to you if you post it. If I give you some money in return, then he will. The old man does not take the money and agrees. Now Salman says, I will give you 2 days. I will give the letter later, but that fair Solomon betrays the owner and gives all the money to the owner. Tells things that your slave is here, knowing that his master wants to run away from. The half that was drunk could that I heard that there is some educated slave here. If it is there, then it says, no sir, there is no such person here. After this he asks what I heard that you are writing a letter to. You posted that white slave. Salman refuses and lies. He says that I am the white slave of this place. Wants to be a supervisor, so he is falsely accusing people. The owner agreed, and Salman almost died. This letter is left after his departure. Burns, and here he is in front of himself. Was watching the expectations rush in, and it let us had one last hope, that is, to tell the family that he too, alive, but Omi is also dead. He will probably die doing this work one day. Will go and no one will know now. Let's see that without informing the Pepsi owner. His master goes anywhere and takes him everywhere. Searches, but after some time he comes back. Seeing whomever goes, its owner is very. He goes crazy with so much anger. Kills, but is considered solved in between. To save him, but he still can't. She tells her stomach that she has gone to buy rice. I was smelling bad here. But it does not dry up, but its owner. to believe in things, hope was falling apart. Now, after some time, a white man named Virus, who comes here only to work as a laborer. The owner came to him for money, comes and offers a drink, but this refuses, saying that you just, my sweat is visible, who is this slave? It's been working for you for years. To give them this drink, but the owner says, he is my slave, he is better than an animal. This property is worse than what I did with it. Do whatever you want, but you are white. Yes, and you can be my friend, work away. Carousel on, you have to listen to all these things and understand. It seems that the person is good at heart now here. But friends, I have played the best role. Brightness, who is a very good actor. Illegal comes to her days later and gives her. Says you might ask me something. You want whatever is in your heart. Tell him I'm not like you guys. Salman is convinced, after which I put my whole life in front of him. Hearing this, he also understands that the real, I can only stoop to this level as a human being. Does that if by posting this letter, if your life changes, then I will be free. If I can get it, I'm ready to do it. But keep in mind that this should not happen to anyone. Before we know it, a few days pass, and Bess leaves work from there and goes to his home. Goes against Salman every time. I would be working with my people, and then there come two men with legs, in which there is a policeman from there, and asks if there is anyone named Platt here. If there is a man, then Salman goes to him and says, yes, my name is the plate. The policeman asks that besides this, if you have any other name, then he says that yes, my real name is Solomon, and it's, then he looks at the problem and those legs. He is very happy that there, he identifies with the man he was, and friends, this is the same person who shop. Solomon went shopping with his family, and after that the policeman asks some more questions which his family are related, which they tell correctly. Gives, and meanwhile his master comes there. He goes and says that this is my slave. Leave it to the Muslim, also says that I will give you more money, you stay here. Go, but Salman runs to his friends, goes to the teacher and hugs her. After so many years, he takes someone close to him. I saw it, but then the owner comes there, grabs her by the throat and makes her leave. And the video is more than that. I know you cheated it on here. I have brought it, and if you don't leave it then, I will meet you in court, and the condition of all your property will be given. Only he has started taking Salman, and then back. The voice comes from Saul, he thinks you. Who calls me by this name, then we. If he lowers his legs and turns his back, then he is a cat. Hugs the CEO and cries a lot, because she has been working here for years. Vishwam knows that he is the last one from the stomach, getting the bar, and she also knows that she will never be able to see Salman again, and maybe he will die at this very place now. There are tears in Salman's eyes. Somewhere he goes with him, and also those who he wants to be free, but it is not possible. All we know now is here and now. Solomon reunites with his family after 35 years. It turns out that both his children have grown up, and he is also married. Salman has his own. I couldn't believe my eyes that, seeing his family standing there in front, he started crying and asked for forgiveness. He fell into bad times, and after that, from him to you and everyone hugging him, and say you're sorry. There is no need to ask for anything. Didn't do wrong, and this most landing. Also, the story ends here. All over the world you will find many such bad. You will meet people who love your money and your skin color. Your outfit will show you down. Will consider you weak, but people like you. Only those who still have humanity will be found inside them. Alive if Vyas didn't help him. If it had happened today, Solomon would still be a slave. Later on, Salman wrote a comment on his story. Wrote a book named 12 Years of Therefore, and on this basis, this movie has been made. Later, he led many movements against slavery. Also participated in, but till date no. Even did not know where Salman died. This happened, and where was he buried along with this? Later, on June 19, 1865, the slavery laws was abolished in America due to its. This is the story after all the slaves were freed. Seeing this, you must have got an idea that when, if India had not become independent, then with us, how they were treated is the story here. How did you like this story? Please let me know by commenting. See you soon. You can get so much pizza in a minute thanks to you. There is bread.